Hi, everyone. Welcome to Pennies to Dollars. And of course, Yogi's going to join me. Today, we're going to talk about how I transitioned into retirement after working 40 years. Many times, I worked 2 or 3 jobs, raising 6 kids. And there are actually 5 stages of retirement. And today, we're going to talk about each one and where I'm at in those steps. I hope you'll stick around. The first stage of retirement is actually the pre-retirement stage, where you start getting excited and you start planning and strategically figuring out how much money you need and what your retirement is going to look like. This sets the foundation for your retirement by you envisioning what you want it to look like and figuring out how much money you need so it can be the way you dream of. I retired at the end of October at the age of 57. I'm now in my 10th month of retirement. And that pre-retirement stage, it started for me at about 5 years out. I started planning and projecting numbers and looking at costs and looking at my Social Security projections. And I started figuring out what was I going to need to retire? What was it going to take? How long was I going to have to work? And those are some of the things that pre-retirement phase covers. This is a pivotal stage of the retirement process where you are figuring all of that out so that you can get to a point that you can actually set a date for your retirement. It is when you have decided, I'm no longer going to look at expanding my career. I'm going to look at my life on the other side of my career, and what does that look like? So technically, the first stage of retirement is the honeymoon phase after you have stopped working. This is like the endless vacation, endless fun, free time, not setting an alarm, doing what you want every single day. And I'm still in that. I'm in my 10th month, and this phase can actually last several years, or if it's done right, you probably could stay in this phase if you really figured out how to do it. You spend time seeing friends, doing hobbies that you've wanted to do, resting, relaxing, focusing on your health. And I personally am loving this phase. The only thing I can tell you that has drug over from the pre-retirement phase and me working so much into this phase is I still have work stress dreams. I had so many work stress dreams before I quit. And technically, if you look at my emotional state, I worked too long. I was having those types of dreams night after night, and I would wake up and have a different one. And every one that I thought about the next day all had to do with how much stress I was under. Some of it was because I have a back problem and I was in a lot of pain. And the other part of it was the job I had was not allowing us breaks or lunches or anything like that. And they were just pushing us so hard to do a third or a half more than we were doing when we were first hired. So it was a highly stressful job, and I just wanted that to end so much. But I went on trying to make sure that I had all my ducks in a row before I quit. And I think that's part of the reason that these dreams have persisted. They have become less and less. I've only probably had one in the last 2 months, which is really good. But these are some things that can carry over from working a lot if you were in a very stressful position. But one of the things I did when I retired is I focused on what I was going to do when I retired. Now, I retired at the end of October, and a lot of people may think that was a really bad time to retire because Thanksgiving was next, Christmas was next, the holidays were right there, but I had budgeted for that. So that was not a problem, but those things kept me busy. And then I went straight into the rest and relaxation phase of that honeymoon period where I packed up my RV and I went to Texas and I spent the winter down there, resting, relaxing, going to the pool, focusing on my health, and really decompressing from that job. And I felt like that was so important for me to not only do that, but also to have a lot of alone time so I could process through so much of that stress that I had and let it go. I would highly recommend, if there's any way that you can do something like that once you've retired. It was such a huge healing period for me. The next stage is the disenchantment phase, which I am going to try to avoid. It's the stage where you start feeling lonely and bored and you lose your sense of purpose and you don't know what you're supposed to do. And you're sitting in retirement going, is this all there is? Is this what I was looking forward to? What more is there? Sometimes this phase can have those unmet expectations of retirement. Maybe you didn't get a honeymoon period where you could travel or do anything fun, and you just slipped straight into staying home and watching television and not really doing anything. And you're sitting there going, is this all there is? That can cause a lot of unhappiness in retirement. And honestly, I think this is part of the reason that my husband doesn't want to retire. He has already shared with me that he doesn't know what purpose he would have after retirement, and he's afraid he would get bored. But I feel when retirement is properly planned, you can skip this phase. One of the things that I did to skip this phase, hopefully, is I made a huge list of all the things I wanted to do in retirement during that pre-retirement phase. I wrote down everything that I wanted to do and what a perfect day would look like. Things on my bucket list that I wanted to see, things I wanted to accomplish, different things I wanted to do with my day that I never had time to do when I was working. And I came up with this huge list. And then I looked at it and said, I could be doing some of this right now. I don't have to wait until I retire. And I started tackling some of those, which really improved the happiness in my life. But even since I've retired, I have made more lists of more things I want to do or try. And I do reflect back on those lists from time to time when I'm like, okay, I finished this. What is next? And these lists have helped keep me on track and keep me motivated and keep me excited about retirement. The fourth phase of retirement, if you've gone through that disenchantment phase, is the reinventing yourself phase. Now, some people jump right into this phase when they retire and they want to write a book or learn how to ride a horse or go skydiving or do something they've never done before and step outside of their comfort zone. So this can be an area where you can jump into this anytime that you want. But after the disenchantment stage, a lot of people will go into reinventing themselves and trying to figure out what their new goals should be and what they can get excited about or participate in to get some of that retirement excitement back. Many people will try to find new passions and new fulfillment during this stage. The fifth stage of retirement is the stability stage, the stage where we have finally been able to start enjoying the benefits of being in retirement, where we have got a renewed sense of hope for what the rest of our lives look like, and that we have finally settled into a satisfying lifestyle that we enjoy. This stage looks beyond money and focuses back on relationships, time, health, hobbies, and all of the things that make our life worth living. It also focuses on our time that we have and how we want to spend that, and how we want to fulfill ourselves and have a sense of purpose. Now, again, I say if we do this right, if we keep our lists and our hopes and our dreams and our goals fresh and we stay on top of those, I see no reason why the number 2 stage of the honeymoon stage can't go on and on. So, stage 5 is actually stage 2. But if you do it right, you don't have to do the last 3. But again, I'm in that stage right now, so I may be biased. If you are in any of these stages of retirement, if you could please share that with us in the comments. I would really love to hear someone else's perspective besides my own on this. And I appreciate so much you listening to me today, and I hope to see you in the next video.